Hello, welcome to our September Inspire Talk. We're here today talking about the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club, and it's our next Making the Difference strand of talks, looking at making as a tool of social change. So it's a bit different today because there's a couple of us actually in at the factory, which is the first time we've had that on our online Inspire Talks. So you can see behind me one part of the unit, and one of our other speakers today is also in our other unit, but do bear with us if there's a little bit of background noise at any point. We'll do our best to avoid that. But yeah, we're back in the factory and glad to be back. So my name is Fee, and I'm one of the technicians and training and skills lead here at the factory. We offer commercial services such as laser and CNC cutting, product design and prototyping, and a variety of training and skills development opportunities. We also have a membership program for those looking to access the equipment themselves and become part of our vibrant community of creatives and makers. So today we're joined by Megan-Clark Bagnall, who's a visual artist and social maker and clubhouse manager for the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club. Also joining us is Nic Marshall, a designer maker currently employed by local charity Rework to build the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Course. So we'll hear more from them in a bit. But just to give you a bit of background before we get started on Filwood Fantastic and what that actually means. So it's a collaborative project between Filwood Community Centre, so our local community centre here, and the Knowle West Media Centre, which the factory is part of, and Rework as well, who are a local charity who do a lot of getting back into work activity for young people and other people. And the project is funded through Creative Civic Change. So the overall aim of the project is to co-design and reinvent community spaces within the Filwood and Knowle West area, whilst creating opportunities to support, develop and showcase local talents and transform perceptions of the area by inspiring local pride and putting Knowle West and Filwood on the map. So the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club is just one element of this, and we've done other projects, like if anyone's been up to the community centre, you'll see the big Filwood letters, which is part of that. But the Mini Golf Club is acting as a tool for engagement with local people and spreading the word about the exciting upcoming mini golf course that will soon be coming to the area. So hopefully that gives you a bit of background to the overall project. And now to hand over to our guests to find out more about Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf. So firstly, Megan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hello, my name is Megan-Clark Bagnall, and I thought I'd introduce myself by reading an extract from a letter that I wrote through time. I wrote this letter on the 19th of September 2016, and I wrote it to my 8-year-old self, and I read this letter on the 19th of September 1994. So here you, I are now. The year is 2016. Well, now it's 2020. And I'm pleased to inform you that you are indeed an artist. You aren't quite as you might have imagined. You aren't rich. You don't own a house. Well, actually, now you do. You own a house in Knowle West. PS4, we're hardcore. Of being a backing dancer on Stars in Their Eyes, not even for one series. But that lifetime of ballet and dance training didn't go completely to waste. This is Car Boot Disco Bingo, which is something I've been doing since 2012 with Jasmine Lovelace. And we were featured on BBC Radio 2 with Claudia Winkleman, who said we were amazing. So that's a quote that we overuse. But you don't have long dark hair with a block fringe like you imagined you would have. You didn't stay thin, but you are an artist. You aren't starving. You wouldn't call yourself a hippie, but you are an artist. And here is how you describe the kind of art you do now on your website and on applications for big projects. Hiya, I'm Megan-Clark Bagnall. I'm a freelance contemporary artist living in Bristol, UK. I'm currently concerned with making artworks via interactive and participatory processes, by inviting audiences or select participants to involve themselves in assisting the realization and outcome of different creative concepts. I enjoy making work that is accessible, questioning, queer, fun, humorous, and often quite ridiculous. You like making funny projects with people, and you recently started calling yourself a social maker, which is a silly term you aren't quite comfortable with, but it does kind of make sense. When people ask you what you do, it's often easier to lie and say you are a dentist because you aren't an artist that paints or makes sculptures. So in case you are wondering, your drawing skills never did beat those of Adam Bond, the boy who could draw anything and it looked dead good in year 4. You are an artist that makes big projects with people, sort of like throwing parties, inventing new games. There's a project called An Everyday Party, which was in Bristol, Bear Pit a few years ago, and I handed out party bags to people passers-by with enough ingredients in to make a cake. And I said if people stop back on their way back from work, then we'd be able to make a cake and throw a party. So I had all the elements for a party, but not the participants. And then we had a spontaneous party in the Bear Pit. Also looking back at how that area of Bristol historically was called the trading post, and it was where all the ships would take all their merch in to trade. So bringing it back as like a Skillshare space, but for the modern commuter, really. Yeah, and you once recreated a game of the tabletop pool inside a swimming pool, shop by shop. This is Pool in the Pool, which kind of shaped the way in which I work now. Complete with handmade, convincing pool ball helmets for the swimmers to wear. You build haystacks out of destroyed worries and then help people to search through the 2-meter tall haystack to find a needle of hope before leading the search party in a conga to a celebratory cake and carver stand. You play games, you are silly, you don't make serious art, but you are serious about making art. And since 2016, when I wrote this letter, I have created Melvis, which is an Elvis tribute act, which encourages the audience to take off the rose-tinted glasses of nostalgia. I have visited the final 41 remaining Little Chef restaurants before they finally closed their doors, and threw a tribute funeral to the chain, which received national acclaim in all of the worst newspapers. I have thrown a coming out party for Kelly Lewis, who is a participant in one of my projects, a creative crafter in her own right and an amazing lesbian, to celebrate her coming out of the house for the first time in 4 years. Through a desire to take part in creative activity. And just before lockdown, I had a 6-month solo exhibition at the Royal Shakespeare Company called Smash the Stereotypes, which was explored gender and smashing negative stereotypity into smithereens in the form of smashing sugar glass windows and different activities. And also at the end of last year, I established Make with Meg, which was my YouTube channel, which you can subscribe to and follow on Instagram. And that kind of helped set me up really in a way for the new virtual way of working, and helped a lot with the groundwork of knowing how to run a virtual golf club. So that's my background. Back to Fiona or straight on to Nic.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. Yeah, Nic, you go for it as well if you'd like to introduce yourself and your practice.
All right, everyone. Yep, my name's Nic. I've got a fine art background, and after my degree, I moved into designing and making, and woodwork was my favourite practice, so I used my skills and my creativity to woodwork. Since finished, so I've been making furniture for the last 10 years, and in between that I was also working for a company called Bristol Braille Technology, which is making the world's first multi-line Braille display, and it's called the Canute. So my involvement in that has been sort of the CAD work and prototyping and design development, all the way to mass production. So watch this space that's currently being made. The furniture designs I make are sort of a sort of retro vintage kind of style with quite blocky shapes and big ambitious curves. You can check them out on my website if you like, nicmarshall.co.uk. And yeah, my approach is using power tools mixed with rapid prototyping equipment like laser cutters and CNC routers, and I really enjoy using hand tools as well, but it's that's a big learning curve, and I'm still teaching myself that. So that's me summarised.
Awesome, thank you so much. So that's a bit about kind of your background and where Megan and Nic have come from. But now I'd like to talk a bit more about the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club. So Megan, could you tell us about your role as Clubhouse manager?
I can indeed. So I've prepared some visual prompts. So what is Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club? So Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club is an online clubhouse. It's inside my studio. It's inside your home. It's wherever you are. And it was open to Knowle West residents of all ages. And the idea was that by opening a clubhouse before the mini golf was built, we could kind of tap into all of the local talent, the local skill sets, and the artists of the area, of which there are many. So we created this values board, which is brilliant. And then at the start of each clubhouse meeting, we would just go through the members of the clubhouse and the kind of things that the values that people value are Tessa values houseplants. We have got we had Melly, who values music and spontaneous dance. So the idea was that that the clubhouse values people and it values individuality. So it was a meeting. And it's kind of contrary really to the local Knowle Golf Club, which has loads of rules. Things like no hats, no golf shoes of any description, no soiled, wet golf clothing or workwear. Please do not come in without footwear, just socks or in bare feet is not acceptable. Trainers are not permitted. We prefer golf shirts to be worn inside the waistband. T-shirts or football rugby shirts, denim jeans and hooded tops are not permitted. Shorts must be smart and tailored to appearance. Mobile phones must be switched off to silent at all times and only
Meg, you're dropping out a little bit.
Right. And I kind of looked really at what to do, and I thought that what I loved is that the local community had already expressed interest in wanting a mini golf course to be built. So so that was already in action to be built, and I kind of thought that what would be lovely, as opposed to just having a mini golf course that's just built with one team of makers, that actually these holes could tell stories of the local area and be like a lasting heritage legacy, as well as I can show local talent. And also, really, I think the biggest reason that happens to the golf club and thinking like what kind of project could I do during this time, I think that like what I do best is I take silliness seriously, and I think at this moment in time, like we need that more than ever. And I think that the golf club does that. It gives people like a bit of role play and a bit of light-hearted entertainment. When did I establish Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Club? April 2020. It was a lockdown baby. I'd just done a project on holidaying at home where I'd been running Meg's Package Holidays and taking people on adventures without leaving their sofas. And I'd just done a couple of YouTube specials with Arnold Feeney Gallery in Bristol and Meadow Arts, who are based in Shropshire. And and I think that it was just a great time to be thinking about all those places that you can visit without leaving your house, really. And a golf club, a virtual golf club that exists in your house, in my studio, kind of felt like a good thing. So we'd meet at 4 o'clock every Thursday, and everyone would make their own mocktails with a mocktail kit that I provided on people's doorsteps, and we just check on in and have a little chat. So how did I operate for a Fantastic Mini Golf Club? Flyering, loads of flyering during lockdown with loads of hand sanitizer on my hands, looking at people's houses in my local area that have got rainbows in, trying to reach out to people that I felt wanted to be reached out to. people who have kids who are at home, who didn't have those clubs, who didn't have school, who didn't have routine, who didn't have a thing that they could schedule into their diaries. It was about providing light-hearted diary time for people in that stretchy weird time. So yeah, Thursday afternoons with a mocktail, and also different hosted sessions. So hosted sessions from the Daly family and Suzie Davidson. So lots of different Clubhouse members came and they'd share their skill sets during the values time within our Clubhouse meetings. But then we had a couple of special episodes that were kind of meetings that were themed around those households. So for example, so we had 7-year-old Neve, who gave us a drawing lesson in how to draw Pikachu and some anime characters, because their golf course is heavily inspired by Pokemon. So Neve is an artiste of anime, and she gave all the adults a drawing lesson. There's a little snapshot of that. And then Suzie Davidson, as I said before, is queen of the perfect fried eggs. She's also really keen in photography and is getting the darkroom back up and established at Filwood Community Centre. But we kind of loved the idea that she really, really bigged up these fried eggs. So we asked her to do a live egg special where she told us exactly how to fry an egg. And we all tuned in and listened intently. And then there were lots of comments in the Facebook group afterwards about people trying her technique, which is controversial because it's 50% grill action. So that was how they kind of ran. And then also like lots of doorstep deliveries. So here's Claudia and I, Claudia the caddy, who is at Last Fire in Talk, also known as Knowle West Beaches, and the Grapegram. She kind of dressed up her bike and had that ready to go. I had all of these kits which I prepared in my studio, called Meg's Mega Kits, and we did those people's doorsteps. So a combination of those things, but also a real key factor in how the club kind of developed was one of those lovely kind of things that happened where I established a connection through sharing my needs with my community and getting the golf club going and having these conversations. Then I would share these nuggets of information out beyond Knowle West. And one of the people that built up a really great relationship with it was Richard and Emily Gottfried, who are mini golf champions. They are mini golf celebrities, and they are mini golf consultants. And they have really been a real backbone of inspiration and thought, not just to myself and the club and about the practicalities and the logistics that a club needs to have when you're setting one up, but also about actually like the actual build and how some of those ideas that the community have designed might go into some of the stuff that Nic is making. So they've been a source of inspiration, both technically, logistically, and everything really. So a huge thank you to them. And who was still a fantastic mini golf club for? So it was for absolutely everybody within the Knowle West area. It was using the Filwood Fantastic funding as part of this scheme, which is about reaching out to this local area and being able to showcase people's skill sets and supersede people's values of themselves, really. And I think that a lot of what I do is about the art of play, and I always struggle with trying to convince adults that it's for them, not just for their kids. And I think a lot of the time adults sign up because they want to do it, but then they kind of force their children to do it. Whereas this was actually so lush that I feel like it's actually a period of time where people have really valued the art of play more than ever before, and that actually it was a mainly adult audience. And a lot of the time they'll be like, sorry, the kids are just off camera, they're just going to be doing something next door, they've had too much screen time, whatever. And then the adults be putting a lot into their making, their creations, and their sharing. And I think that was a really special time. So yeah, it was intergenerational and it's for everybody, no matter what your age or ability, or no matter what you're an artist of, whether that's baking, cooking, art, painting, whatever. It was for anybody with this locality, really. And then we ended the virtual Clubhouse meetings with two things. First of all, we had a put party where it was all to play for, when the winner received a trophy like this one here for the Artiste Award 2020. This is a replica to be used later on at Suzie Knowle West Fest when we've got a second competition, and everyone showcased their mini golf hole designs that they made. So we encourage people to make mini golf hole designs in their home, inspired by their me materials. So your me material is your kind of like passion projects, or your materials that say a bit about you. So here we have got the camera Obscura by Suzie Davidson. And as you can see, she absolutely loved the fried eggs. They're just off shot, actually shoots some raw eggs on here. But this is Suzie Davidson's whole four. She's got a real love of cameras. And like I said, she's trying to get back up and running the dark room at Filwood Community Centre. So these are all of her old cameras, some of her amazing prints. And also here is, I think this is called the Family Photo Album Run, and it's some really old photos from her household, from her family, and even some negatives and some film there as well. So that was an example of one entry that we had at the put party. We also had the Daily family who came and did the Pokemon special, the anime drawing workshop at one of our Clubhouse meetups, and this was their final entry, and it was called Pokemon Go. Because at Filwood Community Centre is actually a hotspot for Pokemon Go, the Android game. So it's loads of tie-ins there. They actually, during one of their Clubhouse meetings, did a little call out to who thought they pre-made 3 of these Pokeballs using recycled materials, and the 4th one they put to vote at a Clubhouse meeting, and it was the sports ball, which is this one here, and that one was one that they made after it went to a vote. And here's Pikachu's mouth in the Great Tunnel, and it only took Tash Daly 3 attempts to get it in Pikachu's mouth, which was pretty good going. So the day we did the put party happened to be a day where it just decided to lash it down with rain. So that was indoors, and a lot of these were planned for outdoors. But one person that wasn't deterred from outdoors was Don Alford, who swooped right in and took first prize of the Artiste Awards 2020. Here's his design of Nova's Nasha. Nasha spelt with a G, but Nova's is like the marker of the area, the local area. And Nova's Nasha actually has a string coming up here, and it's connected to a crank so that this crocodile's mouth manually moves up and down to kind of swallow the ball, and goes down an extravagant ramp and down like a 3-way kind of different tunnel, and then into its hole, like absolutely superbly. Dan Alford really swept in there and took that prize. I mean, he did absolutely brilliantly. He must have been beavering away. He didn't show us anything in the run up to the cut party like other people did. He just kind of kept scurrying away, and then came in with that right at the end, which is, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. And people's faces. Oh, no, I haven't got a picture. I thought I printed out a picture of everyone's face, but it's the wrong picture I printed out. But everyone's faces in the Zoom at the put party were like really like over the top. So it was great. So yeah, that's kind of what I did, and then we kind of rounded it up with by that time Nic had been brought on by Charity Rework and started working on some designs to actually make the in real life mini golf course. And we kind of rounded up my part of the project with afternoon tea, like we're in the Clubhouse. We had tea deliveries from a local company called Sandwich Shop, who delivered afternoon tea to people. And we just looked back at all the work that everyone had done, at all everyone's different artistic skills, at all the different designs at the put party, and looked alongside Nic's technical drawings, and kind of looked for ways in which we thought that the two worlds could meet. So it's very much been like a co-design project, really, but with quite strange deadlines. It's made it obviously, and a pandemic that's made it quite logistically tricky, but it's been great. So that's what I've been doing over at the Clubhouse.
Amazing, thank you so much. It's so fun to see. And yeah, you mentioned sort of co-design. I guess it's good to just sort of reiterate that the whole Filwood Fantastic project, co-design is really at the core of it. So we're not trying to design stuff and just kind of put it in the community and be like, right, that's yours, you're having it. It's very much working with the local community to like have a vision for what they want to create, and like so golf is definitely one element of that, and every bit of the project we're working as closely with local people for ideas and decision making, getting people involved in the fabrication and stuff as well, which there is a chance to get involved with golf, which will get mentioned later on. I just want to mention at this point, apologies for a slight technical difficulty. Our factory producer is off today, and for some reason it's not going full screen on the speakers, so you can see small versions of all of us, which hopefully is fine, but you might not be able to see Meg's pictures quite as clearly as you would if they were full screen, but yeah, apologies for that. Nic, I will pass over to you if you want to tell us a bit more about what's coming up with the Filwood Fantastic Mini Golf Course.
Yeah, cool. Okay. Well, I thought I'd give a bit of an overview of sort of what I've done so far as well. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Sounds great.
All right. So I was employed by Rework as a carpenter for this project. Rework, just a little background, they're a social enterprise charity that does vocational training for like kids and volunteers. So when I first started working there, I was given the brief that the golf course should be transportable, made from recycled materials, and I was given a semi-modest budget. So my starting point was that, and I decided to work with pallets because they tick the boxes of being transportable, and also you can pick them up relatively easily, which covers the recycled angle. So with that in mind, I started making designs. And what I'll do is I will, sorry, I shifted that. I'll share my screen and show you some of the designs I made. Cool. You guys still with me? Mm-hmm. Wicked. Okay. Let me just get it up. All right. Cool. So once I sort of agreed the basic building materials and figured out a rough outline of the budget, I went on to my computer and I use a program called Fusion 360 to do 3D modeling. And if anyone's interested in getting into 3D modeling, you can get a free hobbyist license with Fusion 360 and just crack on and start using and learning it. And I really recommend it. It's a really good program to sort of quickly sketch out and visualize ideas like this. So you have to forgive my slightly ghoulish figure here. That's like a stock man, just to give you an idea of scale. And I just stole it, all the lines and stuff, with just graphics artifacts. So I've designed 9 holes. I'm only going to show a few to keep it a little bit snappy. So this one I've changed a little bit now. This is made from 3 pallets, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to make it with 6 pallets now and have it a bit wider. And the idea is you start here. Can you guys see my pointer, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm not just saying stuff randomly. You start here, you shoot the ball up, and you've got to curve it round and land in the hole. So there's little features, little feedback I got straight away from people. You know, this middle barrier is too high. This is basically an impossible shot. They need to have a little cap here to stop the ball smashing off the end. So that's been really good. And there's the next design, Rework. Actually has quite a few. It's quite a fantastic charity. They've got Regrow, which is vocational training in gardening, and they've also got a charity shop where they sell loads of gubbins. And one of the things they have is a pool table. And I immediately latched onto that and thought, I have to do something with that. So my idea here is you use the golf club as a snooker cue. You start your golf ball here, and you've got to shoot it into one of the 6 pockets. That'll be here, 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 or here, like a pool table. And it's kind of like a randomizer shot. So the ball will, if you shoot it here, the ball could end up coming out here, and you won't get a hole in one. But one of the holes are designed to land in the middle shoot, and you can get a hole in one with that. So it's kind of like, it's potluck, take a chance. So looking forward to making that. And then there's this loop-de-loop design where you start here, you've got to shoot the ball and this loop-de-loop it's just made from a tire. So, and I've actually made that one, so you'll see a photo of that in a sec. So these pictures here were quite rough sketches. At this point, once I got, this is like version 1 design drawings, and at this point I was chatting to Megan quite a lot, and I got feedback from the people she was talking to, and also Megan mentioned Richard and Emily Gottfried, and they were really fantastic at this stage with like pragmatic advice on like technical elements of how difficult a technical challenge is, and what order the holes should be in difficulty settings and the size, you know, stuff like that. So that was really great getting ideas from them. And they also gave me, I don't know if you should check out their blog, because they've got an absolutely massive blog of the, Megan, how many holes have they done? 926?
Yeah, they've done a few more since now. They're up to 955 mini golf courses. 14 years.
So, yeah, when I started the project, I was like, oh, I could do with some research. Does anyone know golf courses? And then this couple came up and was like, yeah, we've got a blog of 955 courses we've done. So I was just like, whoa, mega resource. So that's been absolutely amazing to reference.
I mean, we can't thank them enough, can we, Nick?
Yeah, they've been banging. So yeah, thumbs up to you guys if you're watching. Yeah, so oh yeah, so those are my designs. They're quite small and simple because of the time scale and the budget, and you can see they're quite square. So underneath this, the grass is the pallets, and this is clad with pallet wood. The frame is pallet wood, and the turf unfortunately isn't recycled. I did try to find stuff on eBay and secondhand, but it was an absolute nightmare and was really scrappy stuff. So I had to buy that new. But the rest I'm pushing to get recycled or reused, and an absolutely amazing resource for that has been the Bristol Wood Recycling Centre. So big up to those guys. They've been brilliant, and they've even given us a bit of a discount. So yeah, mega thanks to those guys as well. Yeah, so okay, so I got the designs done, I got the feedback, and then so here's the actual space if you guys are interested, that I inherited from rework. When I first turned up, this was full of stuff, and the first week or so was spent clearing it out and getting the tools back up to scratch, replacing blades, checking they work and they're safe. So yeah, that was part of the job as well. And this is sort of what it's like now. You can see we've got a planer thicknesser there and a table saw, and there's a bunch of hand tools, and a chop saw is would be behind me while I'm standing taking this photo. Cool. And then that's a volunteer called Mel. She's been fantastic. So another part of this project is getting volunteers in, and also working with the kids that rework work with, and just sort of introduce them to some of the skills and work needed to make this. So this particular task here is, pallet wood is actually not that massive. So to make the frame up around the sides, I've had to do some biscuit joining and glue and then clamping, and that's what Mel's been helping here with. So I taught her how to use a biscuit joiner, and I think she was pretty happy with that. That was pretty fun. So she's done a few days. She's been really useful. Here's a shot of the first hole I made, mid being made. I wanted to quickly make this and get it in the Filwood Community Centre to sort of show the guys, like, you know, this is real and this is what's going to be made. I've shown you sort of 3D drawings, but here's a physical thing to kind of get your head around, to get an idea of scale. So there's stuff I've learned since that I'm going to go back to improving on this, which is mainly sort of weatherproofing. So all this unpainted pallets, I plan to paint, and I'm also going to add rubber feet to these to sort of raise it off from the grass and prevent dampness from rotting the wood out. Yeah, and then here's another hole, sort of work in process. You can see I've painted this one. This is the ramp and shot design. So this is a very sort of basic build that I've done on this, and one of the ways, like talking to Megan, has manifested is she showed you the sketches and the hole with a Pokemon theme. So this hole is going to be edited and changed. So this simple hole here, I've nicknamed the toilet seat because it looks a bit toilet seaty. It's going to be changed to be a big old Pikachu head with his open mouth. And so you're going to try and smash the balls through his mouth, which will be fun. And then there'll be like the Pokeballs decorated here and here. We're either going to sort of get them from the charity shop because you get lots of Pokemon themed stuff from there, or you can 3D print with recycled plastic. So that could be cool. And there's loads of free 3D models out there I can use. So 3D print that and get them painted up. That could be really fun. So that's the approach I've taken with making these holes, is get the technical challenge made first, and then been working with Megan to get the decorative stuff like weaved in and merged. And it's been a really great process, actually. I think it's worked out really well so far. And here's the first hole I showed you made, and that's sort of what it looks like. There's one of the technical challenges I've got to overcome still is the ground's not actually very flat. So you can see this corner here is a bit lower. So I'm thinking of introducing a wedge, or I might just embrace the fact that it's a bit wobbly as long as people can stand on it and it's not wobbling around everywhere. There's this other idea here that I ditched, which I thought of that was meant to be like a really easy to transport design, which is you've just got the turf and underneath lots of planks of wood, and you can see there's a lot more fun curved shapes that could have been achieved. But the idea is, it was like I called it the bed slat design, where you can the bed slats are joined together with some cloth, and then you can roll them up into like a big roll. But when I did that and then unrolled it in situ, you can see how awful, like, it got so creased. It was awful. So I just ditched that idea and stuck with the building straight onto pallets. So you can see there's been a bit of an experimentation process and playing around. Here's another design. This is the ramp and hole shop that's going to be upgraded soon. These blocks of wood here, they'll be changed to be Pokeballs, or I might screw some Pokemon balls straight onto the blocks and just sort of see what looks good, you know. And at that stage of the decoration process, I really want to work with volunteers or the kids from Rework and just sort of see how it comes out with those guys. So it's going to be cool. And here's the loop-de-loop. This has been my most, I really like this design. It was really fun cutting a tire up and then screwing it down and making a shape. And I tried this design, and it's actually quite a hard shot, but when you get it in, you get the right speed and the direction right, the ball just goes woo, and yeah, you get a hole in one if you get the power right. And it's just, yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, and then so that's sort of the stage I'm at. I've made I'm working on the 5th hole now, and I'm building them up to this sort of these holes that are completed technically, and they're going to act as a template to decorate. So I'm on the 5th hole now, which is going to be a cool like ramp shot, the first 3D design model I showed you. And then also in tandem with this, working with Meg, and also here at the factory, I've been working out some ways to decorate it now so that it's not a massive squeeze at the end of the project. And here's one of the ideas I've shared with the factory. This is a simple 3D model I've made through Fusion 360, and it's going to be a 3D carve of a book from loads of pallet wood glued together. And the tool that can be used to make that is something called a CNC router. And yeah, we're working through the logistics and the time frame now together, and I'm hoping that can be made. And the scale of it is going to be this book will be almost 1 meter wide, so that'll be a really nice sort of wow factor decoration on one of the holes.
Can can I just throw into there? We just had a really Nic and I had a really exciting meeting yesterday about the Clubhouse Designs and them kind of interweaving with Nic's technical designs. And one of the ideas that came out of this, because this was a design called Book Club in our DIY ones with a family called the Turners, and they actually they couldn't make the finale put party, so they just sent work in progress pictures of their book club design. And the reason they couldn't make it was because their beloved cat Oscar had passed away, and the family were too sad. But we had exciting news that hopefully what will be featured on this book, or if not this book and it gets changed to a different design, will be a resting tribute to the beloved cat Oscar, who's a local Knowle West cat. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But please do carry on, Nic. Sorry to interrupt your flow.
No, that's fine. So I mean, that's the taste you got of like when so a lot of in fact, almost all the decorative features I've got, I've worked really hard to make sure it's derives from Megan's work, because like, you know, Megan's done like such a fantastic job, and the documentation she's given me and inspiration, like, yeah, just really want to make sure that's weaved in as much as possible. And you know, it links straight to the community that way. So it's, yeah, I think, yeah, it's cool to link it up and merge. On to the next thing. So the Clifton suspension bridge is a bit of a no-brainer for Bristol. This design I've made is, it can be, it's broken down into many small squares that can be laser cut and then assembled. So you can see a cool like tab design here. That means that when I get all the parts, God knows how many parts there'll be, they'll be quite easy to assemble and join together, and like this called tab joinery technique. And yeah, it's going to be, we thought at the moment we don't know whether to make it a decorative piece that the ball goes underneath here, or make it a much more difficult technical challenge shot where the ball's got to go up a ramp and then through along here. You know, and just give you a taste of like the technical challenges we're facing is it's got to be weatherproof, this, so we're choosing acrylic, but acrylic's kind of, it can break, it's quite delicate, so if someone smashes the ball quite hard, they might damage these little uprights here. So you've got to consider ways to make that a lot more like robust. So, you know, you get, and that's still got to be figured out and ironed out. So this will have to go through another version draft.
The Clifton suspension bridge design came out of an idea we had in the final afternoon tea party at the Clubhouse that Nic came along to, and we had a chat, and lots of people said they'd love to see the suspension bridge in there, because Knowle West is built on the outskirts of the city, but we all kind of think the joke's on them because we're on the top of it. And loads of people have got beautiful views, one of them really lucky, of the suspension bridge from our houses. So it's kind of like a little thing in the distance that we're always looking at. Yeah, and it was featured in some of the designs. So yeah, it's been lots of different organic chats as well as just DIY designs, and then Nic's done this great 3D printed model. It's amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the end of my slideshow, and just to sort of like bring it back to a loop. So you know, I've gone from inheriting this workshop and, you know, getting the woodwork skill facilities going again, and then going through a design process and chatting chatting to people and making sure ideas are heard. So I've kind of got to this stage now where I'm working on decorative features, and you know, I'm going back to designs like this and remaking them, and ideas that Meg and I chatted about yesterday, in fact, where this could represent Nova's Hill. And then we could have a sign there that's the same as the sign on Nova's Hill.
Yeah, that's the Northern Slopes, that one. The
Northern Slopes. Thank you, Meg. Yeah.
That's right. We've got lots of different ones. We have that one.
Yeah. So not the Northern Slopes then, and decorating it to sort of represent Northern Slopes. Yeah. So, and that sort of led to a call out wanting to decorate it with some foliage, some plants, outdoor plastic planting. So there's a call out asking if people got any plastic planting to sort of donate. and stuff like that. So, and that's sort of where I'm up to in a nutshell. So I'll sort of stop talking now.
Great, so good to see the visuals and see where all the ideas are going to start sort of merging between the two sides of the project. So I'd be interested to know a bit more about the specific holes, and you've talked about the Pokemon Go being the toilet seat, what you said. Have you got ideas for like the loop-de-loop or the sort of slopey one, like which of the mini hole designs are going to feed into those ones?
Yeah, let me just get the drawings up to remind myself. I won't, just bear with me.
One of the ones that's up for discussion at the minute in our Fantastic Mini Golf Club Facebook group is the tyre, the loop-de-loop, because we were originally going to have a slightly different hole, which would have been Susie's camera design. It would have been quite an obvious camera, but for many reasons that isn't being built. We're trying to decide whether the loop-de-loop could be a camera if you imagine you're looking at it side on, and then like the tyre's the lens. But I think it does need to be that you're playing it and the player gets the experience of what the final image is, and you wouldn't see that if you're playing it. So that's the conversation at the moment. But yeah, the Nova's Nash of the crocodile, I think is going to be on your original one, isn't it, Nick? That you showed the picture of your very first.
Yeah, I mean, I can very quickly go through the decorative ideas through the other holes if you like.
Yeah, you don't have to reveal everything now if you want to keep some of it secret, but just be.
No, it's all right. There's no IP or anything like that.
Well, the element of surprise.
I'll just share my screen again. Cool. You guys see this?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, like, this is an overview. This is quite a cool approach. I got this photo of the Filwood Community Centre from Google Satellite, and I measured 2 lengths and made it to scale. So all these holes are sort of to scale. This is my crudely numbered system. So, you know, number 1 is just a very simple corner shot. You know, that this idea, we thought we could have the book decoration here. So that big sculpture of the book could be here. And then there could be where I'm going to ring up a resin like selling shop to see if we can protect hardback books, weatherproof them, and have them just dotted around as obstacles and decorate the turf here, and also maybe go as far as putting books along the frame to sort of decorate a bit more. This one here, I thought it'd be cool to have the Clifton suspension bridge, and maybe even introducing a river. Like make the turf blue here and stick some model boats down or something like that. This is the ramp shop, which I told you could be northern slope design with foliage. This is the pool table. I don't think that needs much decoration. It's kind of cool as it stands, but open to suggestions. This one here, there was one of the ideas Megan's work came up with is knitting. Like this knitting and sewing club. So these simple blocks of wood here are going to be replaced with giant knitting needles. So, which I've already ordered. I'm really excited to receive. That's going to be really good. And another idea we had is to replace this length of wood here with what will look like a ball of yarn, I'm hoping, and it'll just be like boat rope, like really chunky boat rope. So that should be weatherproofed and look pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a few textile artists in the club, so that represents many different people coming into one. Yeah. Yeah,
and there's this idea to do some sort of patchwork quilt idea with the turf itself, but we're ironing out the logistical parts of that at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is actually stolen. Ideas for this was taken from what Megan made. I really like the ramp with the hole in it. And if you get the shot right, it's a really hard shot. The ball will go down here and it'll be a hole in one. We thought these could be replaced with like large old broken cameras, these bits of wood here, and then we're trying to think up other ways to decorate it to be camera themed.
We've actually got a local historic club that have donated lots of different local history pictures of the local area. So we're wondering about resining.
Oh, you broke off then, Megs. Wondering about resining what?
No.
Oh, we lost her. All right, sorry, Megs. I will continue talking. Sorry to be rude. So this is a Pokemon shot. Big old Pikachu face with a mouth and Pokeballs here. Jobs are done. This is a loop-de-loop, really fun.
Having them used, so it's like a photography, local photography.
Oh.
Oops, bit in and out there.
Okay, cool. Sorry, Meg's gonna carry on. Loop-de-loop shot, really fun technical challenge, but needs ideas to decorate. You know, an idea that I personally had was decorate as a Sonic the Hedgehog loop-de-loop. But open suggestions, and that was an idea I had. It'd be better if the decorative ideas came from the community. And this is the final shot, which is kind of like you can either choose to do a really difficult shot along here, get a hole in one, or you can choose to do an easier shot here, which will require more shots and you'll lose points. And this is where I thought the Nova's Nasher could go, the crocodile with the mouth going up and down. I thought that could be installed here to make it an even harder shot. So there's a bit of a technical challenge to sort of compromise there, I think. But yeah, and that's all 9 shots there.
Yeah.
Let me stop sharing.
That's amazing. I love the way it's gonna showcase so many all the sort of talents and interests that you were getting out from the Clubhouse meetings, Meg, and it's kind of got elements of different clubs, and so it's not even just individual talents but things that are shared across the community and that there's lots of interest in, which I find it's great. It's really interesting to see what's come out of it, and just nice to know the sort of community aspect has been included. So we've got about 8 minutes left, and I've got a few questions come through. Well, firstly, some comments. So sounds great, Megan. Love the designs, Nick, and love the knitting idea. And so one question is, which I'll send to both of you, maybe Meg first. Have you got a favourite of the mini golf holes?
I've got a favourite of the mini golf holes. So I, as the Clubhouse manager, I don't have favourites but I do love the different ones that tell different stories. Like I actually love I love Suzie's camera design, DIY design, and the fact that it involved her passion for photography, her love of her her own historic research, and her love of comedy and fried eggs. And I just kind of I love the kind of pick and mix that people have done. And then with the ones that Nick's doing, I'm really excited to see that end one, actually, because that's quite a new design that's come up with the crocodile crank and different options. And with that one, it's gonna look a little bit more kind of a weird pick and mix of different ones. We're gonna have different decors in different places, taken from all sorts of people. So I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited to see how it comes together. Because we're so in it, we don't know ourselves.
yeah. I like the fact that the winner of the mini golf, what was it, the Artiste Award, is going to feature in kind of the pièce de résistance of the mini golf course. Nick, do you have a favourite?
Well, I just really like the loop. It was so fun getting that. Yeah. I'm actually not a great golfer, so it took me 5 or 10 tries to get that. When I got it, it was really satisfying. Yeah.
You'll be even better. You'll definitely learn more golf skills, I'm sure, throughout this project. Was it hard to get it to line up so that it goes in when you get the loop-de-loop, getting all these different angles and stuff and getting it so that you can actually do a perfect shot?
No, not really, to be honest. Because I started with just the tyre by itself, and then rather than using a golf club, I just sort of threw the ball in my hand, which was cheating. I know. I just positioned it. And the thing is, you'll never even if you get the shot struck dead on, there's still only a 60% chance you'll get the hole in one, just because of the nature of how the ball rotates. So that's the fun of crazy golf.
Exactly. So another question for Megan. How have you dealt with safeguarding online?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's been like a real different, quite quick learning curve actually. But my advice would be to anybody is just to remember that the internet is an open space, just the same as a gallery or a museum or any other open public venue, and perhaps never to over-deliver and never to overpromise that you can create a safe space, but actually just to kind of like put out there what the guidelines are. And you can do it in a way that doesn't feel like a complete buzzkill, but I think sometimes you have to just say explicit things. Like, we're all here to use nice language and be nice to one another. Please do not swear. Please do not say anything that could be deemed as racist or homophobic, because it's just good to be explicit about what kind of environment you want to create, if it's a Zoom call or if it's like a live stream and people are able to comment. It's just like putting out there how you want it to be, and just constantly like thinking a little bit about it before each session, and like what things could be potentially triggering or upsetting to a group of new people you've never met before.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like standard safeguarding stuff in addition, but just thinking about it and just reminding yourself that although everyone's in your own homes, actually like this is still a big open space. Yeah, that's good.
So maybe one last quick question for Megan about the Clubhouse, and then thinking, Nic, maybe you could just say a little bit about how people could get involved with building the mini golf course. But Megan, I'd just be interested to know, like, how did you go about engage, like finding the people to be part of the Clubhouse meetings? Like, how easy did you find it to like find people to get involved, and what ways did you do that?
Yeah, it was hard actually, because it was hard because nothing was going. So everyone at Knowle West Media Centre was pretty much on furlough at the time. So all of the people that normally would have groups and go to groups, all of the group leaders were furloughed. So we knew that these people were out there, and just without what groups or projects that they'd normally go to. Same with the Filwood Community Centre and most of the local establishments. So it's a bit like just flyering and putting as much out on social media as possible. And that was kind of the only way. But what actually happened was lovely. Like, we had loads of new people that we'd never engaged with before, just through me, but like running up and down the streets near where I live in Knowle West. And anyone that kind of had a rainbow in their window or some kind of like playful front garden, I was like, yeah, fly it. And the flyer dressed up as like 1990s party invites in little yellow envelopes. Like, you're invited to the club. And, you know, that gets people in, I think. So, yeah. And dropping off deliveries makes it exciting, makes it feel like you're not like being honest and saying to people, like, I'm doing this for myself because I need something fun, silly and lighthearted. And if you want to be part of that, then come in. It's not like we need, you know, it's a weird thing when you're doing community engagement, and I think it needs to be true. And yeah, it was just a bit like something to do with the weekends and new things when people are just struggling to differentiate between work and life. And this was a bit like, okay,
I think it's really nice as well, the way that from so early on, like obviously throughout sort of lockdown and everyone's suddenly dealing with so much being digital all of a sudden, and having that like nice tangible physical thing to do at the same time, like you're engaging online but you still get to do something with your hands as well. I think that's really nice.
Yeah, that's true, because we met up once a week, but it was more like a little check-in. And then people would do their making outside those sessions, so that they'd have deliveries, doorstep deliveries, and then they'd make different bits and bring them to show them. So the engagement it was more like a check-in than like an engagement. It was almost like a self-led creative project with different prompts that you can follow if you want to, or you can disregard. Just some things to help you do you if you want to do you.
Yeah. And so just before we close, Nic, do you want to say a little bit about how people can come and help out with building the mini golf? Is that still an opportunity that's available?
Yeah. I'm going to be getting like 18 pallets that all need sort of processing, for want of a better word, repairing any broken bits, painting edges, and filling gaps and adding rubber feet. So if you guys want to help out with that, that'd be absolutely fantastic. You can contact Suzie at Rework. I don't actually have her email to hand. Is it linked up?
Yeah, in a sec I'll share the slide at the end, and it's got her email.
Okay. So Susie's my line manager, and if you contact her, it'll get to me. You could contact Filwood Fantastic as well. I'm sure that'll filter through to me, but Suzie at Rework would be a much more direct way. Yeah, and then soon there'll be lots of decorative features to paint. Like today, I've got someone helping me paint the signposts. You guys here at the factory gave me. You guys got like 1 billion stars cut out from marine plywood, so I stole 9 of those, and they're going to be they're about like this big, the stars, and they're going to be painted, and the numbers are going to be painted onto them. So you could help out with that if you like, and yeah, and then there's building like the framework if you want to do some more sort of construction-y stuff, and your dab hand with drills and screwdrivers. So if you've got an electric drill and screwdriver that you can bring along and help out with, that would be absolutely amazing. Yeah, and you can see the designs I've got. We'll just be following a plan. It'll be quite fun. I'll have tea and coffee and biscuits ready, and we'll smash on some music, and it'll be wicked. So just let us know if you want to get involved.
Brilliant. So yeah, I'll share a slide in just a sec with that email for Suzie if you want to get involved, and also some links to find out a bit more about the fantastic mini golf club and the mini golf course. But just to say, I guess we'll wrap up here, and thank you so much both of us for joining us. Thank you, Meg, and thank you, Nick. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, if you want to say goodbye, and I'll share this slide.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoyed.